BricBloc replaced all my MacBook hubs and you should too. Let me tell you this. I've been testing a lot of hubs and accessories over the years for my MacBook or laptop, and I always end up with a bag full of different adapters, external SSDs, and chargers. But when I started using the BricBloc, something clicked. It's one of those devices that tries to combine everything into a single package: your hub, your storage, and your charger. And surprisingly, it actually works. After using it for about a month, I can say it already replaced my existing setup, but it's not perfect, so let me walk you through with my full experience with it. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. I'm Renzo and I feature interesting or affordable tech gadgets on this channel, so do subscribe if you want to see more. Let's start with the basics. On Indiegogo, the BricBloc comes in 3 kits. The most affordable is $89 for just the GAN charger plus the hub. Then there's the middle one at $159, which adds 512GB of storage. And finally, the most expensive one is the $179 for the 1TB version. The one I'm reviewing here is the 512GB kit. And honestly, if you're planning to actually use this as an all-in-one hub, I think the storage versions are the way to go. As someone who works with videos and big files, I kind of wish I had the 1TB version because it just fits my workflow better. But even the 512 gigs already feels useful. If you're interested in picking one up, the links are in the description box below. They have some exclusive early bird discounts, so definitely check that out if this feels like something that will replace your current setup. Now, the design is interesting because the BricBloc is basically built out of 3 modules: the charger, the SSD, and the hub. All 3 are connected through pogo pins with strong magnetic attachments, and I have to say the magnets feel secure. It's not something that just falls off when you put it in your bag, which is exactly what I was worried about at first. Even with all 3 modules attached, it weighs only 185 grams. That's really light, especially considering I used to carry a separate SSD, a hub, and a big charging brick. The BricBloc fits in my palm and doesn't take up space in my bag. The build itself is all plastic, which keeps the weight down, but it doesn't feel cheap. It even comes with this plastic-like cover that wraps around the body. I wouldn't call it a protective case, it won't save you from hard drop, but it does prevent scratches and gives the block a cleaner look. So let's break down what each model does. The charger. This is a GAN charger that supports up to 67 watts through its USB-C port. It's enough to charge a MacBook Air, most Ultrabooks, tablets, and of course, phones. If you're a MacBook Pro user, it won't give you maximum speed, but it's still decent for most day-to-day use. Now the SSD. The next cool thing here is that it has its own USB-C port, meaning you can actually use it as a standalone drive without attaching it to the other modules. That flexibility is something I did not expect. And yes, you can choose between 512 or 1TB. And finally, the hub itself. This is where you get an HDMI port supporting 4K at 60Hz, one USB-A 3.2 Gen 2 port with 10GB transfer speeds and 5W charging, a USB-C 2 port also supporting 10GB and 5W charging, and then the host port USB-C 1, which handles both data transfer at 10GB and up to 62W charging. Here's the important part. If you're connecting this hub to your laptop or MacBook, you need to make sure you're using the USB-C 1 port as the host connection. That's how you get both proper charging and full data transfer speeds. So how has it been using the BricBloc every day? I'll be honest, it's now my favorite hub. I've been using it at home and on the go for about a month, and it replaced all my other accessories. I no longer carry a separate SSD. I no longer carry a bulky charger, and I don't need 2 different hubs depending on whether I need HDMI or extra USB-C. It's just this one block. Now let's talk about temperature, because that's something worth pointing out. If you're using just the hub, no issues. If you're using the hub and SSD together, still fine. It gets a bit warm, but nothing alarming. But if you're using all 3 modules at once, charging, hub, and SSD, that's when it gets pretty hot to the touch. It doesn't get dangerously hot, and in my test, I didn't notice any slowdowns or throttling. My SSD speed stayed consistent and the hub worked normally, but you definitely notice the heat if you pick it up. Speaking of SSD speeds, according to BricBloc, you get up to 10GB if you use the SSD by itself, but if you use it with a hub, it should drop to around 5GB. Here's the thing, I tested this multiple times and I still got close to 10GB speeds even when using all 3 modules together. So maybe they're just playing it safe with their official numbers, but it's nice to see that in the real world use, the SSD still delivers maximum performance. Now there's one quirk I noticed. Sometimes when I connect the hub to my MacBook, It just doesn't work. I'm not sure why. It happens randomly, usually when I first power on my MacBook and plug it in. When I tested it with my Windows PC, it worked fine every single time. I also reached out to BricBloc about it, and they said they couldn't replicate the issue on their end. So my guess is that maybe my unit is a lemon. It's not a deal breaker since unplugging, waiting for a few minutes, and replugging usually fixes it, but it's something you should know about. So inside the box you get the BricBloc itself, a USB-C cable, and 2 travel adapters. The only thing I didn't like is the USB-C cable. It's short. If you're working in a cafe and the outlet is far from your table, you're going to need a longer one. But here's the catch. If you do buy a third-party cable, make sure it supports both 67 watts charging and 10 gigabit data transfer. Otherwise, you'll be limiting what the BricBloc can do. After a month of using it, here's where I stand. The BricBloc is exactly what I hoped it would be. A compact, travel-friendly hub that combines storage, charging, and port expansion into one device. It's lightweight, modular, and it generally reduces the amount of gear I carry around. Yes, it gets hot when you use all 3 modules at once, and yes, I wish I had the 1TB version instead of the 512, and there's that occasional quirk on my MacBook, but overall, it's one of the most practical accessories I've used recently. If you're someone like me who always brings multiple gadgets when working outside, an SSD, a charger, and a hub, the BricBloc is just a smarter way to pack light. And considering the early bird prices on Indiegogo, I think it's worth it. Just make sure you pick the storage version because that's where it really shines. So yeah, the BricBloc is staying in my bag permanently. That's it for this one. Drop a sub or like if you feel like supporting the channel. And as always, until the next one, stay safe.